Hey everybody, Leah Klett here with the Christian Post, and I'm so excited today to be joined by husband and wife duo Carlos and Alexa PenaVega. They star in the brand new series on Great American Pureflix titled Mr. Manhattan. Guys, I really enjoyed Mr. Manhattan. It's so fun
Don't
to
lie.
see.
Don't lie.
I
I'm just kidding.
did.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I love seeing your chemistry on screen. And I was talking to a friend yesterday, and she brought up you guys and said it's rare to see a couple in Hollywood that so clearly likes each other. And I think that really comes out in this film.
Oh, sometimes. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Jeez
No, no, no. You know
Louise.
what? We've been so blessed that we get to continue working together because most couples do it like a few times and are kind of done with it, but we just keep going and keep going and yeah, it's been so fun and Mr. Manhattan was such a fun experience for us. We got to go to Kentucky and
Yeah,
yeah.
this is special. We've always loved kind of big space, kind of farmland. We ended up moving to Tennessee within these last few months. God brought us here, and it just kind of gives you that sweet hometown vibe. And for us, that's what we were looking for as a family, which is why we ended up in Tennessee. But Kentucky has a lot of those same feelings that we love
Yeah.
so much.
You star in this incredible movie that's so fun, it's so uplifting, it will pull at your heartstrings. What attracted you to this story initially?
You know, we loved we loved that battle. I mean, for me specifically reading the script, I loved watching Mason's journey. Obviously, I know I'm playing Danny. I was so excited because I actually read the script before Carlos, and I remember finishing it, and I was just like, babe, this would be so special for us to do, but specifically for you to be able to take on the role of Mason and really like be this guy who's struggling to find that relationship with God, struggling to understand what a relationship with God looks like because the world kind of has this view of a very transactional God, not a relational God. And for to watch his character kind of go from this guy who does it like maybe used to have a relationship with God but never really kind of fine-tuned it, and he's just navigating what it looks like to finally let go and trust that he has a plan for your life, even if it might not have been what you thought it was going to be. It's always much better. And watching that growth and watching Carlos perform it, I was so happy and so impressed. And I think that was my biggest excitement for this movie, was watching Mason's journey to discovering God.
Yeah. Well, in Mason, he's balancing a high power career with sudden parenthood. As an entertainer and as a father who obviously you place your family first in your life, how did you relate to this character's challenges?
Uh, yeah, I mean, let me see. I think first of all, being a father for me in the beginning was really weird, was really hard. So definitely the sense, in that sense, I definitely related to when like we first had Ocean. I didn't really understand what being a father meant. I kind of just was going along with the okay, we're pregnant and now we're having a baby, and then when the baby's here, you're just like, what did we do? Like this is I'm not sleeping, you're not sleeping.
The reality of having a baby sets
Yeah,
in.
yeah. So definitely, on in that aspect, I definitely could relate to, Mason's journey, getting these two kids and being like, what did I do? I think in terms of, his spiritual walk, I think we all go through something similar where, we have these seeds planted throughout our lives and then, certain things happen and we're like, is that a coincidence or was that God? Is no, and we kind of wrestle with that a lot. I know I did, especially when her and I met. That was my whole thing was, God brought us together, but it's like, just kind of still questioning him. And we even had a moment in our relationship where she was like, hey, listen, if we ain't got Jesus in this, we ain't doing this. And it gave me a nice little push to go, okay, cool. Let me just really, invest in my faith and see where it takes me. And I'm so happy because we literally doing these type of movies to me it's so fulfilling because I kind of get to go through that journey over and over and over again, and it's such a reminder that God is all over the world, all over our lives, and constantly showing Himself. And I think Mason definitely sees that, and what a great story! Like it was so fun.
Yeah, Alexa, Danny's character brings such a sense of faith and stability to the story. How did you connect with her, especially in the context of helping Mason rediscover his faith?
Um, I actually felt like I could relate to Danny in that area a lot. I feel like, as Carlos said in the beginning of our relationship, he was really still navigating his faith and his journey with God. And I think a role as a mom, for like me specifically in my personal life, I feel like you're constantly trying to find that balance of, teaching little people, having like a family life is constant balance. And I think that's what Danny was bringing kind of throughout the whole movie, was not wanting to overdo it and force Mason to have this relationship with God, because you can't, but just speaking truth and honesty and allowing him to navigate that journey himself while holding his hand through it. And I feel like that's kind of what you do as a mother. I think that's also what you do as a wife, because and as a husband, because there's never a place where I feel like you guys are at the same exact place all the time. He's sometimes picking me up, I'm sometimes picking him up, and that's how it works. And that's why we have that balance, and that's why that relationship is so strong, is because you're constantly like bettering each other. And I thought that the way that they wrote Danny and the way that she just kind of helped navigate everybody without being over the top, but really just holding their hand in the journey. I thought they did a good job with that.
They really did. And the film has such a strong emphasis on trusting in God's plan, especially when it comes to hard times, when it comes to grief. How has this message resonated in your life and, just being in Hollywood since you were a little girl, really?
Yeah. I mean, I had actually, and Carlos will say this as well, like we've never gone through, when we filmed this movie, we had not really gone through grief, um, like they had on screen. And to have now gone through, the hardest thing we've ever gone through
Yeah.
ever, um, you just realize, gosh, the world is just so much bigger than your bubble, and it's hard not to feel that way. Like I think it's very easy to kind of fall into like depression and sadness and all this, but the one thing God kept reminding us through our grief was just how great he is, and how I hope this makes sense, but like how his heart hurts for us to go through this pain. And his intention was not for us to feel this pain, but the enemy is real and the enemy's out there, but he is going to turn this pain around, and he's going to give us pain with purpose. And I feel like if there was a slogan for the season that we're going through, it's called Pain with Purpose. And you get to see that in the movie. We've experienced that now in our lives. When you give your pain to God, he will turn it into purpose.
So I want to hear from both of you on this one. You are both so outspoken about your faith on your social medias, just so publicly. How does your faith and being parents who want to raise kids who love the Lord, how do these beliefs motivate the projects that you take on? How do they influence the projects that you take on?
I mean, I think if they didn't, then I would be questioning
Your walk.
my walk with God. We, I would be lying if I said it was an immediate like, oh hey, you know what? This is our new life. This is our new walk. We love Jesus, and we're gonna. It wasn't like that. Like our hearts were slowly changed over the years, and we were getting these offers for different projects. She was taking different projects, and in the midst of it all, we were like, how is this making us feel?
We no longer felt comfortable.
Yeah.
It didn't sit well.
Yeah, and again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that like everything was perfect. Like we're these saints. Like when we first met Jesus and we first encountered him, we were literally going to Bible study and then going out to parties afterwards. It'd be like, okay, cool, Bible study Thursday night, and then should we go dance at the club? Yeah, let's go dancing. And we weren't like crazy party animals, but we liked going to the club and having a few drinks and dancing. And after like a month, we were like, this probably isn't
Doesn't
the right.
add up.
Doesn't add up. And the more that we let God in, the more that we let him into our hearts, the more he started changing and like really molding us.
Yeah.
And I feel like over the years, he's done that more and more and more, especially when it comes to all these projects. And we tell people that, look, obviously these these movies, like Mr. Manhattan, they're great. They got the, God is the center of the whole thing, and we really believe in making worldly content with a kingdom heart because the world is broken. So we can't pretend that everything is, what do they say? Rainbows and butterflies.
Right.
The world is broken. So we got to show the brokenness and show the healing and show that there is healing. But doing that through a kingdom heart, I think it really has opened up the like our little bubble of projects that we would normally take. That being said, 100%. And in short, it does affect it, and we only take projects that we really think glorify God. That doesn't mean that it has to be a Christian project or a faith-based project, but ones that truly glorify Him and
have redemption
and stuff like that. I could have just said the short part, but I
like the longer.
I gave you the longer
version.
I love that you talk about sanctification, though, because that's what happens, right? The more we get to know the Lord, the more that we study scripture, the more we want to reflect Him in our day-to-day life. Yeah. And so I love that you bring that up because that's such an important part of a spiritual walk that we don't always talk about.
Right. Well, I mean, we had a great conversation with our pastor the other day, where, I think the struggle is people want like the set of rules. Give me the set of rules so I can just follow them. Like, give me all the answers. And while the Bible is the most beautiful roadmap you could have, there are certain like what kind of projects do we take? The Bible doesn't exactly specify what is like how far is too far? What is like, like you're constantly gauging that balance, right? And what I love about the Bible is that while it gives you so much, a lot of it, God also kind of left so that you would have to come to Him. And so you would have to wrestle with Him through making these decisions versus here's your piece of paper, here's the sheet that you're supposed to follow, now go. Because He's not a transactional God. That's not what He wants. He wants you to come to Him. He wants you to ask questions. He wants you to wrestle with Him so that you have to kind of you truly have to rely on Him to live your life. And I can't tell you how much we've had to do that.
Oh yeah.
Because it is a balancing act specifically in our career.
Alexa, you're preaching, girl. I love it. Well, guys, it was so good to see you. Thank you again for taking some time to speak with me. I really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you for taking the time with us.